Hi, Luke from Korg here, and today I'm showing you the Keystage. This is our premium MIDI controller with MIDI 2.0, Polyphonic aftertouch, and a powerful suite of bundled software which includes Korg Gadget Producer Edition, Wavestate Native LE, and Ableton Live Lite as well, which offers deep integration with the Keystage. It's also fully compatible via patch scripts with Logic Pro X, Cubase, FL Studio, Studio One, Digital Performer, Cakewalk, and GarageBand. So the Keystage is available in two different models, the 49 key like this one, or 61 note, as you can see behind me there. They're all both exactly the same, just different size keyboards. Now they've both got premium actions with Polyphonic aftertouch as well, great feeling keybed, and as you can see, lots of controls on the panel. We've got this nice OLED screen here with the data value wheel next to it, and 8 control knobs, each with their own OLED display to see all the information of whatever parameter you're using. And we've got a pitch bend wheel, a mod wheel, and octave shifts up and down. It also comes with this handy expansion plate as well. On the 49 you can fit it in the middle, and you can have it at different angles. And on the 61 note you can put it in the middle, or you can put it to the side as well. So this is great for putting gear on there, or a laptop or a tablet, whichever you choose. So one of the cool things about the Keystage is that it has MIDI 2.0 already inbuilt. So that basically means we can seamlessly connect to things like software and also hardware to get instant recall of our parameters without any configuration at all. So I want to show you Ableton Live Lite, which actually ships with the Keystage, and just show you how easy it is to set that up. In fact, you don't have to set it up, it just works straight away. So I can just press play. It will start playing my project. I can press stop. I can turn the loop on and off using these transport controls. I can even shuttle through, go into my chorus. I can select different tracks as well, really easily. So if I go to my drum track, for example, I can then start playing my drum sounds on the keyboard. And you can see on the screen there, it's automatically snapping into the sample that I want to edit. And it's also showing me the parameters relevant to that particular sound here on my little OLED displays. So if I track through to my bass sound, for example, and go down the octave, I can then start changing things like the filter. So it just makes it super easy to start diving in and editing. Or if I go onto my vocal track, for example, then I can click on any of these different boxes in Ableton, and this will change at the same time, which is really useful. So my wet dry mix of my vocals, for example, I could just quickly dial in a load more reverb. We'll bring it back. So we're going to move over to Gadget Producer Edition now, because I want to show you the even deeper integration with the Keystage that piece of software offers, and it comes included as well, which is great. So the whole reason Gadget is cool is because you basically get all of these amazing gadgets included as instruments, which can work as plugins within external software as well. And a lot of them are based on classic Korg synths, but there's also some really good original ones in there as well. And this is one of the demo projects. So it's already synced up. I don't have to do anything. I can just literally press play. The track will play back, and you can see it playing through there. I can manually pick different sections if I want to. And once it's finished that section, it will kick in. There we go. But what's really cool is the fact I can just track through, again, my different gadgets, my instruments, to see what I want to do. And when I find one that I want to change, I can also see here now all the different programs within that gadget, and I can just select them and see what they're called without even having to look at my screen. So I can go through all my different instruments and change them, and again all of the different parameters will be automatically mapped to these 8 knobs, which is fantastic and really helps with your workflow. The Keystage also ships with another great instrument called the Wavestate Native LE. This is based on our hardware Wavestate keyboard, which is pretty incredible, and you get a version of this for free, again, with the Keystage. And the reason I wanted to show you this piece of software is because it works particularly well with the aftertouch parameters we have inside the Keystage. So for instance, I can dial up on my software here a sound. This is just a lead sound, and I can show you first of all the channel aftertouch. So that means single note aftertouch. This is a monophonic sound anyway. So if I dig into the key, you can hear that's bringing in some pitch modulation or vibrato. Let's select a different sound, because what happens with this channel aftertouch is the fact that it reacts the same on all the different notes. Even if you just play on one note or multiple notes, it will do the same amount of aftertouch. So let's have a listen to these strings now. And then if I dig in, I can get a nice swell by using the aftertouch. But we've also got polyphonic aftertouch on here, and this is where it gets really interesting. So let's select a different sound and go into my menu here and select, instead of being on channel aftertouch, change it to polyphonic. So that then means that I can be selective about which notes I want to manipulate and apply aftertouch to, and therefore send messages to the software to do particular things. So in this case, I've got the aftertouch set to be a filter. You can hear that opening and closing there. But it means that I can play a nice pad down the bottom and then manipulate just the high notes. Or even collections of notes. So that makes it just super expressive. And because of the MIDI 2.0, again, I'm seeing all of my parameters here on the panel, and I can change patches directly from here, and it happens to change in the software as well. So the integration is just incredible with the Keystage. Okay, let's move over to Ableton again, because I want to show you some of the MIDI polyphonic expression features. So we're in Ableton, and I'm going to go back into these settings for my aftertouch and then turn it to MPE. So that's MIDI polyphonic expression, which is basically what poly aftertouch is, but this allows us to add other controllers into that mix as well. In the Keystage, we don't actually have any of those, but what's brilliant is in Ableton, it has loads of presets for MPE, which allows you to use this polyphonic aftertouch really well and very easily as well. So as you can see, I've got a sound selected already. And if I use my aftertouch, you can also see it in the display down at the bottom there, how much aftertouch I'm using. And if I start playing multiple notes, you can see all the different amounts that they're being used by. And if you're in Ableton Live Lite and you want to find these sounds, you can just type in the bar here, MPE, and it will give you a whole list of loads of different MPE sounds, as well as this controller that you can drag into the box at the bottom to monitor your inputs. So the cool thing about the Gadget Producer software that comes included with Keystage is the fact that you can use all the gadgets, so the instruments, in other pieces of software as well. So for instance, we've got Logic running here, and as you can see, I've got the script already in here, which means I can track up and down using the controls here on Keystage. I can also start and stop using the transport controls. But also, Logic has smart controls built in as well. And what that basically means is that auto maps to a controller. And in this case, I've just auto mapped these 8 knobs here to the smart controls, which means I can then as you can see on the screen, start tweaking out, in this case, my drum sound straight away. And it's automatically mapped, which is really cool. Also, the Keystage has an arpeggiator and a chord mode built in as well. So let's go down to a track where we might want to use the arpeggiator. Something like this synth sound, for example, which is really nice. Turn on the arpeggiator and it will just arpeggiate just like a hardware synth with basically, but then you can go shift arpeggio and you can see all of the different parameters. So I can change it to trigger mode or random or down, up, down. I can expand the octaves if I want to. I can also latch it. We've also got a chord mode as well. So let's go into a different track. And I want to use this Glasgow plugin. It has some really nice, more kind of sample-based instruments in here as well. So if I go into here, I can go to search and then electric piano, for instance. Let's go for this nice white pad EP. Turn it up a little bit. Now if I go into chord, this will play chords for me automatically, just from playing single notes. But again, I can go into different settings and select them via the dial here. Major, minor. That's some really nice R&B style ones. And as you can see on the displays here, it's actually telling me what the notes are within that chord. So I can actually go in and revoice that myself and save my own if I want to. There's also a strum mode within here as well, and that works obviously very well on guitar. So let's select a guitar sound. Let's go into my guitar plucked category and acoustic guitar there. So now, if I just turn off chord a minute so you can hear the sounds. There's my guitar sound. Turn chord back on, and in the second page, we've got, in the settings of the chord, we've got strum time and strum direction as well. So let's turn up the strum time. So it'll play a chord for me at the speed that I choose. So you can have something quite quick or something a bit more picked. You can also change the direction up and down, so it alternates. So yeah, just really nice creative modes within the Keystage to help you make your music. So as you can see, I've brought in my Op6 module. Now, the reason I've done that is because this is MIDI 2.0 compliant as well as the Keystage. So they work really well together, and that's not just the Op6. It's also the ModWave and the Wavestate as well in their keyboard and module forms. And basically what it means is if you plug it in both ways via MIDI, you can then automatically map all these parameters. So that's the algorithms I'm changing, and it's telling me on these little screens what I'm doing. So depth of the effects 1, effects 2, and you can see it changing there on the screen. Plus it'll tell me the name of the patch or the program here in the OLED display, and when I change it, it seamlessly changes on the hardware as well. So it's not just software that this will integrate with, it's great for hardware as well. So you can use any piece of gear with the Keystage that has MIDI on it, whether that's USB or regular MIDI. As you can see, I've got my Volca FM here, but this isn't MIDI 2.0 compliant, but it doesn't matter because you can download this really cool piece of software called Kontrol Editor, which you can use to configure a lot of our controllers, including the Keystage. So what you can do is you can load that up, and then you can basically put in your control change numbers that you want to use for various MIDI functions and then map them G controllers on the Keystage. So for instance here we've got this nice kind of sound on the Volca FM, and as you can see here I've created a map in the Kontrol Editor and put in the control change numbers, including on the mod wheel there, vibrato as well. And it just means that I can then dive in and start tweaking things like the effects, or turning the Arpeggiator on. Changing the speed of that. Okay, so just to finish up, as you can see I've got my iPad here. I wanted to show you the expansion plate in a different position. As you can see, you can angle it here, which is ideal for tablets. This is connected via USB, just as I would have done with my laptop, whether it's a PC or a Mac, and that acts as a MIDI and an audio interface. And it maps perfectly to the included software. You get iOS versions of Gadget and Module as well. So when I press play here, just like with the PC and Mac versions, it perfectly syncs up. I can change patches, and I can obviously edit all my different levels as well in the drum kit in this case, and I can switch between my gadgets really easily. So it works seamlessly just like the PC and Mac version does as well. And once you stream your audio out, you can send it through the audio outputs of your Keystage, because it's actually got an audio interface built in. So audio outputs, and you've got headphone output as well. Now I'm using the power function of the Keystage here as well, because the iPad doesn't give it enough power to work. But that's also great because you can use it on stage as a second keyboard, as a controller with any other synth. Just plug in the power and then you've got a MIDI controller there ready to go as well. Other connections we've got on the back here, we've got two pedal connectors. So we've got a damper input and an expression pedal input as well as our regular MIDI sockets as well, as you saw earlier. So there you go, that's the Keystage. Go check it out.